Monday, November the 4th, 2019 began with one of the most memorable and my favorite projects up to date. The project began with research and drafts and transitioned into a full-on presentation and creation. The first page, which I began writing at 1:10 p.m., hence the top right, listed the 6 simple machines that I found on Discovery Ed, which consisted of the wedge, inclined plane, wheel, pulley, screw, and lever. The wedge cuts or pushes things apart. An inclined plane helps things roll or slide up and away from the ground. The wheel and axle makes things easier to move by reducing force and changing the force's direction. A pulley uses a rope wrapped around a wheel, lifting objects. A screw uses grooves to tighten or fasten things together, and a lever is a solid bar that rotates around a point and helps lift things. Writing that down was crucial. On the contrary, the next page involves written out division problems, probably a result of not enough space in my math notebooks, so we are just going to brush that one off. The ramp activity, which was held Wednesday, November the 13th, prompted us to go outside with certain planes and certain heights to set them on and record the massive weight in grams, force needed to lift weight straight up, height of inclined plane, length of inclined plane, which would be the same thing since we use the same inclined plane, length and height, force needed to pull the weight up the inclined plane in newtons. We use measurements and we use weights and all sorts of fun stuff. I believe my partner was Tayton. The next 2 assignments, followed by the same day, were the rough draft expectations and the rough draft. The rough draft expectations included your paragraph 1 introduction, then your simple machine number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 for up until 7th, and then the 8th is the closing and conclusion, which restates the intro. Today I'm going to tell you about simple machines. No, you're not. They wanted us keeping in mind that each paragraph is about its own topic. That said, the next 2 pages are my rough draft. Feel free to pause and read them, but I'm not going to read it out to you. It was edited by Jacob and he gave me positive feedback. Sharpen a pencil, open a door, open water bottle, turn a Rubik's Cube, unbutton a shirt, chop a vegetable, fly a paper airplane, get fed something, jump the ramps, build a Lego structure, close an umbrella, put on a sock, slap me, unplug something, water a plant, cut paper, flip and land a bottle, turn a page, staple a page, lift an object, push a button, squirt glue, play mini air hockey, drop on my book bag, sweep the floor, wear a bell, kick a soccer ball, stick on a sticky note, unroll toilet paper, open a window, make it rain, and take my shoes off. Though those all may have sounded like imperative phrases, those were all ideas that me, Jacob, and Randy jotted down on a notebook on Thursday, November the 21st. This is when the group project began to get fun, and a group in general. Going forward, we circled the ones that we considered: sharpen a pencil, unbutton a shirt, fly paper airplane, put on a sock, unplug something, turn a page, staple a page, push a button, play mini air hockey, stick on a sticky note, and take my shoes off. We then starred the top 3 that we already had visions of the result in our head, which were flying a paper airplane, pushing a button, and playing mini air hockey. The top and bottom picture on the left page resemble nearly impossible scenarios, as the top has something pushing the paper airplane into an air hockey table. Air hockey needs air circulating up out of it in order to play, so we thought the paper airplane could fly, but that wasn't the case. And the bottom one is even worse, as random platforms and surfaces were expected to hit a switch. However, the middle one requires a wheel and pulley to rotate something to hit a button. This something was most likely a mallet or a little hammer that could swing. The next page, then, we drew out our diagram of what we expected it to be. Step 1, someone or something topples the dominoes, slightly increasing in size. Step 2 is where the lever comes in, and a falling object hits another surface and triggers another surface. That surface then falls opposite direction and turns into an inclined plane with a toy car, and that's where the inclined plane comes in. The car rolls and slightly hits a disconnected battery on a Kinect motor. Kinect motor is kind of like Legos or Lego Technics. Speaking of which, I built one a few weeks ago. It was fun. They are just plastic toys that connect, and sometimes they have powered toys like powered cars. Step 5, the motor has a string attached to it now and is pulling a certain way, and that's where the pulley comes in. And step 4, which is a wheel, the string finally rolls a wheel and axle on a joint to hit an object and fall and push the button. Thereafter, we brainstormed materials. We decided not to go with dominoes, Legos, or bricks. Yikes. We went with the game disc cases, books, or planks of wood. For levers, we went with a plank on a piece of wood. For button hitter holders, odd name, we went with a wheel, an axle, or more connects. And the button hitter, we went with a mallet. That brings us to our supplies list, which we circled the ones that we needed from Mr. Steve in the classroom that none of us had, but we obviously had stuff like tapes, drills, saws, crayons, hammers. And then we created a bird's eye view of how our work is going to be divisible in each machine. Are Mr. Steve's projects boring? No! It is around this moment I should mention that our third member, Randy, was not a part of our group anymore. Not that he wasn't participating, but he was in the hospital for a few months with depression and needed to get treated. However, he is totally fine now, nothing to worry about. From here on out, it was me and Jacob, though. And we made a new and improved machine layout, and we tagged, after a bit of testing and logic, some things were arranged or reconstructed. Everything was the same until step 5. Once turned on, a string that is attached to a connects piece in the motor pulls with points either hanging or screwed into a wood wall. Step 6. There is a book attached on the end of the string, and when pulled up, hits the button glued upside down on a piece of wood jutting out, and hopefully presses it. I love that we shape-coded this. It really adds a touch of detail and neatness. Of course, a couple more adjustments were added after this until presentation day, especially totally different from the one previously mentioned. And then finally, our result came to this. Okay, this block is going to fall, and this is going to trigger a lever, which triggers another lever, technically, and the car goes down, hits this, which hits that block right there. You can't see too well, but it holds it in place, as well as the tape right here. When it falls, it turns this motor, which actually is off right now, so sorry about that. It turns that on, and then this turns and falls over, which clicks the button.
And
let's do this.
We're going to have somebody say a question or ask a question where the answer is no.
Okay.
Is Isla Montessori? No.
Am I cool?
Okay. Pardon the plugging up noise of my Apple iPad. I did not actually know it would do that while screen recording, but I plugged it up. That was a story from my teacher from the other building, and it was either on her story or the Isla Montessori Instagram story. But I found it, screen recorded it, and it was really our first run with the machine, and we were very happy. Pause if you want to read the whole entire Reflections draft. I'm going to read the last 2 paragraphs. I liked how we had time for this project. That was a miracle. For a whole month, my group and I could have dozed off at the picnic table outside, but we didn't. I learned along this project journey that I can lay stuff out on a table super boldly. I learned that I am sometimes fine with someone by my side, and sometimes I'm not. At last, presentation day. Our machine worked. Of course I am happy that I got to build and present our Rube Goldberg project, but I'm just as happy that I got to see other people's projects and stem off of their ideas. I would definitely be down to do another project just like this in the future. That's a wrap. My final thoughts, this was an amazing month or 2 span project, and I would totally do another. In this clip right here, you can see me skimming through some of my pages next, which we talked about systems of the body, but ultimately I loved it. I happened to make a video like this, I know a bit odd, because it was a part of my room rearrangement, and I just saw it, and yeah, make a video. This was a very fun project. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. And thanks to my partners, Jacob and Randy, and everyone else that helped to make this memory possible.